the news just dropped. Brandon Belt has officially been put on the injured list. And that may be it.
I mean, that's it for the news, or that's it for the career, or both?
That may be it for the season. That may be it for a Giants uniform. That may be it for his career. He woke up today. They asked him, are you feeling any better after a day off yesterday? The answer was essentially no. He's feeling pretty much the same. Susan Slusser did a great job with a piece that came out over the last 24, 36 hours where Brandon Belt essentially said to her, this is really frustrating and scary because it's not just my knee won't get better. He realizes that it's not also just that he's a free agent at the end of the year. He admitted, this is threatening my career. And I'm about to turn 35 years old, and you've all seen it. He looks like he's in pain. I've been saying this for 6 weeks. He looks like he's in total pain. Even when he gets a hit, he can hit the ball out to triples alley, and guess what? He doesn't get a triple. He gets a double, and he gets to second base, and he looks upset because he's in pain. And so I really think it's a moment. I don't know if he's had his last at bat as a Giant. I don't know if he's had his last at bat as a baseball player. But if he has, reflect on the career of Brandon Belt for a moment, if you would. Now, you and I had a conversation last week that was just based over semantics.
It was nuance.
Right? He was a great Giant. He's a good Giant. Whatever you want to call him is fine. It's absolutely fine. It's been a hell of a run that started in Bruce Bochy's office with a famous video where he asked him if he sit down, want a beer? and he did, and he had a beer. And that started the next 11 years in a Giants uniform and 175 career home runs and 2 rings. And great defense, even though I know there were no gold gloves. Andy Baggerly put together, but he should have won some gold gloves. He's been a great defensive player for sure.
Gold gloves is a reputation award more than anything.
Yeah, so sure. Disappointments, frustrations, injuries, all of that were a part of it as well. But I think, look, to me, that's a moment that hits. Like that might be it. Like Brandon Belt's career might be done as of right now.
His career as a Giant certainly appears to be done. And this sort of a knee injury, and we can get into it with the doctor tomorrow, cleared to play at 11:30, special Thursday edition. But if you need knee surgery, I don't know if you can come back and play. I mean, he's been so hobbled this year. He needs some sort of a clean out, it looks like. I don't know if it's bone spurs or if it's, pre-arthritis, whatever it is. I don't know if surgery can ever fix him to the point where he's a real serviceable major leaguer again, and he'll be 35 in April. So you undergo surgery in the offseason. You go through all the rehab. Do you really have it in you to, A, find a job? Because I don't think the Giants are going to bring you back at all. Even if he played for the veteran minimum, even if he came back for $2 million, I don't think the Giants want to allocate a roster spot for him at this current state.
Not a guaranteed deal, right?
Do you want to go somewhere else and give it a go one last time at 35 on a bum knee? I think that, based on some of the comments you've heard coming out from Brandon himself, it feels like this might be it for the career.
Yeah. Well, and I think what he also knows, you're not going to get a major league deal if this is your resume, if this is what you're offering. Okay, sit down. Tell us about yourself. Well, let's see. I've had multiple knee surgeries in the last 2 years, right?
Can't hit lefties, can't hit righties.
Sometimes I like to bunt with 2 strikes. And I'm 35 years old. And I've got a really, really bulky bottom half of my body, Trent. Right? This is who I am right now. But I've been good for the majority of I'm like a good baseball player. Okay. All right, we'll give you a minor league deal. And maybe Brandon Belt, and I don't have in front of me, what are his career earnings? Brandon's made over $100 million.
Yeah.
Does he need to go grind out a minor league deal at someone's spring training next February, next March? I don't even know if he wants to do that. I don't even know if his body will let him do that. I do know that when you have surgery on one area of your body and then you need another surgery on the same area of that body, it's usually not good. It's not leading to good things. So, look, I know there were belt wars for years in this town, and there are plenty of people who are still on both sides of the fence there. But if this is it, Kenny Loggins, then, please let us know. How you feel about the career of Brandon Belt as a San Francisco Giant? Because no joke, like 10 minutes ago, it might have just ended.
Yeah, I think it did, unless he's able to go on the IL and find a way to make it back. If the Giants continue to not be in the playoff picture, maybe he comes back for one last sort of semi-lightweight farewell in October in the final series of the year, against San Diego. You get him one last stint, and that way he can go out on his own terms on the field, tip of the cap, knowing that it's his last year, right, with the Giants, and assuming that he's not coming back next year. Maybe if you're Brandon Belt, you take a month off on the IL, you work your knee into a spot where you can come back and play just one more time. That way you can go out on your own terms, because right now, it's not the last at-bat, but the lasting memory that we have right now is that two-strike bunt. And honestly, the feeling you have is sadness over the fact that not only he bunted with 2 strikes, but what he said afterwards, which was basically, I didn't feel like I could get a hit off this guy in that spot. And that, Mark, is just the saddest part of all of this to me. So I'd love for him to go out one last time, do the Brandon Belt thing, coax an 8-pitch walk, go to first base, have somebody come pinch run for him, and that way he can just tip the cap on his way back to the dugout one last time.
I gave him a few too many bucks, by the way.
Not $100 million?
Not $100 million. 95 million. It's so interesting. You look at the
he definitely has to come back and play. $95 million.
I'm going to need
4.5.
Yeah. I'm going to need 4.5, Farhan.
That's 2 more years.
Yeah, it might be 4. No, I know the minimum's above that, but it's so interesting when you look at a career earnings guy for baseball. I mean, this is someone who's 34. He has had a very, very successful career, but baseball, because of the way it structures its contracts, allows a player like that to have gone through his entire career. And how many times did he, as a free agent, sign a multi-year deal? One time.
Yeah.
One time. That's it. Like, he comes up,
number 1,
makes $200,000 in 2009, right? 2011, $414,000. 2012, they win the World Series, $481,000. Comes back the next year, $531,000. Look, yeah, I get it. It's great money. Now here comes the arbitration stuff. Because you're a good player. 2014, they win the World Series. He makes $2.9 million. 2015, up to $3.6 million. So now you are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years into your major league career, and you have not made $10 million yet. You've got 2 rings. You're the starting first baseman for the most of the time, 2-time world champion San Francisco Giants, and you've yet to make $10 million. Then, boom, 2016, 5 years, $72.8 million. And by the time that deal comes done, everybody wants him the hell out of town.
Right.
Whoops. He puts together 100 games of elite baseball, hits 29 home runs, OPS over 1,000. Boom, you get a qualifying offer the next year for 18.5.
And we want you out again.
And you hit the IL in August, and career done. Nobody's going to shed any tears for that, obviously. But by the same token, that's a whack system. That's a really weird way to go about it. And within it, it's wrong for the player, and there's a cautionary tale for fans. And we all want Farhan to spend. But every time it seems like you sign something that's 5 years or north.
But that was Sabian who signed him for Bobby Evans or, whatever the tenure was at that point. And that's where this regime, and I know that Butcher Boy said earlier today that he's out on Farhan Zaidi. I'm still in on Farhan, especially to the extent that this regime won't do what the old regime did, which was, hey, you guys all won titles. You get 5 years and you get 5 years. We love you. You're forever Giants. Well, those contracts, and I know Longoria didn't win a chip, but his deal, oh God, can't wait to get out from underneath that. And Johnny Cueto's deal, even though he's pitching better now, Brandon Belt and Brandon Crawford until last year, these were all bad contracts. So
they almost always are.
Well, in terms
by
of
the end,
Carlos Rodon, is this regime really going to look to give him 5 years. He's 30 years old. Are you going to look to ink a pitcher who's had injury history? Are you going to give him 5 years? I don't think that Farhan's going to roll like that.